question about Facebook, and I would like to ask you, how do you think people who might use Libra, do they really realize what would happen with their payment data? And what is the major concern, the biggest fear behind Libra?
My concern is that, governments, despite the initial scare, because first of all they realized that Libra actually is a new SDR. SDR was the project of International Monetary Fund, and I'm talking in past because I don't think it was extremely successful. It's a basket of currencies and other assets, like 20, 30 assets, that they try to use as international settlement currency. Okay. Now, what Libra does or wants to do, because it's still in a project phase, they want to create a smaller basket of the main currencies and maybe some other assets, and basically create like a new SDR, but for the general public.
I guess a lot of people don't think about privacy in the online space. In a sense, that big tech companies and social media and email providers and instant messaging providers have a lot of information. So Google's a good example by storing and indexing a lot of information about people's profiles. Facebook's another example. So I think the level of public concern about that has increased due to some mistakes and leaks about what information they have and the uses they're putting it to. You could say, like, by the statistics today, most people are not acting on that concern, right?
Yeah, we already know that corporations have a lot of data on like what we buy and so on. So yeah, I mean that's been happening. I think the consequences are making themselves more and more clear every day, but no one knows really where all that is headed. And it's kind of creepy and scary, but yeah, who knows?
What is the major concern, the biggest fear behind Libra?
Well, obviously, people know that Facebook is one of the primary drivers of Libra, though they'll say, it's a consortium of 100 companies. We all know that Facebook is the primary developer. And Facebook is one of the biggest information collectors and analyzers and basically resellers who are trying to understand everything about your life in order to capture more of your attention, more of your time, more of your money. So the logic kind of follows that if they also know all the information about your financial life, then they can get a much more complete picture of who you are, what you do, and then what's going to happen with that if that information gets abused, misused, sent to various government authorities or other entities that may want to attack or censor you for any number of reasons.
We heard people loud and clear. They don't want their financial data commingled with their social data, and they certainly don't want their financial data being used for ad targeting and all these things. And so that's what we're doing. Basically, Facebook Inc. will not have access to financial data that you'll have inside of Calibra.
If there's no, if you're not getting charged, then you are you are the product. They are making money from you. It's just by advertising or collecting information about you, they're able to extract value. So Bitcoin is not a company trying to make money out of being privacy invasive. It's a peer-to-peer currency that doesn't have any company running it.
Bitcoin gives the ability to hold funds without it being confiscated or being inflated away by a government. Then how Libra is going to protect financial privacy of the users?
I don't think they want to. I mean, that's not in their purview necessarily. I mean, governments are going to try to make them do it, but that's not their main concern. Facebook doesn't care about privacy.
The power of Libra lies in the user base of Facebook. in the comfort that it could provide. Just like the WeChat users in China, the Facebook users will be stripped naked. They will be put in a very dangerous place in exchange for comfort. And as soon as things will start happening, bad things will start happening, people will wake up and realize. I hope that they will start think about it sooner and will, you know, take preventive steps. So, for example, make sure that you have some form of private money, some form of peer-to-peer communication that cannot be interfered by such a corporation. And so my fear is that despite initial scare from the government, that eventually they will understand that Facebook will provide them much more information and much better ways to manipulate the country, or manipulate, that's a negative word, but to organize what people want, think and say, let's say it like that. And that's that the governments will start to appreciate that tool and support it.
It's a big question of what's going to happen for the individual if you know, mainstream adoption happens for Libra. It's also a big question to nation states and their own monetary sovereignty of, you know, what happens if, you know, private currency that is basically controlled by 100 large companies is able to compete with nation state level issuance of currencies. I actually find that to be more interesting, and I would kind of like to see, you know, more competition against nation state currencies, even if it is you know, private companies. But of course the privacy aspects are something that I'm going to avoid at all costs.